It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, and we're gonna open the administrative board meeting. Roll call, please.
I have trustees Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot, Jen Christensen,
Here.
Bill Motisi is absent.
He called in, said he would not.
All right, Nathan Maz. Patrick Yarlam is also absent. President Rick Worm,
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabini.
Here.
I Clerk Sandy Mads, I'm here. Public Works Supervisor Brett Fergie.
Here.
Parks Lead Brody Cook.
Here.
And Engineer Matt Hansen.
Here. Welcome.
Well, good evening.
Tonight on the consent agenda, we have 3 items. The administrative board meeting minutes dated August 27th, 2024. Number 2, bills payable warrant list dated September 24th, 2024, for a total of $54,616.99. And number 3, outside meeting pay for elected officials, total of $100. This time, do any of the board members wish to remove any of these 3 items for further consideration? Not entertain the first motion.
I move to place agenda items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively as consent agenda items. Further, I move that all items be considered together as a consent agenda.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to place items 1 through 3 inclusively as a consent agenda. Nathan seconds. Roll call, please.
Jen,
Yes.
Bill is absent. John,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Patrick's absent. Chris.
Yes.
Passes at 7:02. Second motion.
I move to adopt items 1, 2, and 3 inclusively on the consent agenda in a single group pursuant to the omnibus vote procedures specified in the Illinois Municipal Code.
Second.
Jen makes a motion to adopt items 1 through 3 inclusively as a consent agenda. Nathan seconds. Roll call, please.
Bill is absent. John,
Yeah.
Nathan,
Yes.
Patrick's absent. Chris,
Yes.
Jen.
Yes.
That also passes 7:02. We do not need item D on the agenda. Again, the public doesn't know, but I forgot my glasses, so there's gonna be a lot of squinting going on tonight. And probably misreading things. We'll move on to the reports of the officers, and under me, we have the appointment swearing in the Planning and Zoning Commission. People I've reached out to have all declined the role. We're still trying to find another person to get on the board or on the. Somebody who will take that role or somebody who will get on the board and take that role.
Maybe you can make an appeal to the public that watches this to maybe volunteer to.
So if any of our 55 people out there that regularly watch our meetings, want to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission, possibly be the chairperson, reach out to me.
Watch out, it could speed up.
Hey,
Yeah,
there could
good.
be somebody out there that wants to do it.
No, we need, yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming you put this under discussion about the IML annual conference takeaways.
I did. It seems after we attend that conference that you guys have a lot of good things that sometimes don't get shared. So I stuck it on there in case anybody wanted to share some things that they learned about that maybe we need to get out there for other people to look into.
The one thing that I took away that's kind of resonates, they have some funding for the code updates. I don't know that we took advantage of it last time. We think we moved, so there
I
is.
tried to.
Okay, that's what I thought we did, but I think we missed or
Did
something.
there? No, wait.
Okay.
I did it on time. but-
Maybe there was a delay or some other problem, but they've extended it. There's a pre-application that needs to get in by October 2nd. I know, a ton of time.
Well.
But we can't get into it if we
These
don't do
last
the entry point. I took some notes and stuff, so I'll get with you and
I
then,
have something for what I entered last time.
okay.
could
I
probably.
think we have to do it again, though. I think we have to do the pre-entry this time, whatever we did
I
last
did
time.
that. I did pre-entry,
Already, you're saying for this year?
but no, I don't know.
It was a separate one, so that was from the before, and now we have a new one.
Yeah.
So the new one needs to be done, so that way we can apply for the one that is coming up in the next fiscal year.
Yeah, you can send that information over because Matt actually helped us prepare
Yeah.
the pre-application last time.
But I
so
thought we
can just
did,
copy-
so-
I can copy and paste
What's
from
what's
Matt.
the funding for?
Hard work. and then update it this
For
year if
everyone
you
needs to
wanna
get their
try
code
it.
updates updated, so it's the money that has been used so far, some sounds of it sound like in-house trainings, public notifications.
There you
The
go.
cost of actually just whatever it takes to update everything, so those things are kind of what's you can apply for, so. They said apply for whatever you can, and
Normally,
See what
they
happens, so.
unfund their mandates.
so they are releasing it again, though, so that was something that we needed to pick up on.
I had 2. One of them, Sandy and I were in the meeting together, and we already do something similar, but we could start being a little more formal about it. It's more of a parliamentary thing, and that's when we come out of closed session or executive session, we are supposed to take roll call.
To
No.
recommend it.
That,
It's a best practice,
It's
but
a
we do
best
something
practice.
similar.
But what she does, she notes who's here
Can,
and how they voted. Well, we're actually gonna just start. I mean, we'll do the best practice.
can we get a copy of that
What?
parliamentary, whatever the new parliamentary rules are? Is that what I read? in the
Oh, that's
packet?
something, yeah, that's something else.
Oh.
That's not related to
No,
this.
that's, yeah.
So it was just best practice for the Open Meetings Act. Once you come out of closed session, we don't do a roll call, but what we do is a motion to reconvene open session and a second, and then I take note of who's there. And so Rick will now always make that either a roll call or after,
Ask you to say your name.
or ask you to state your name
More
for
likely
the
just a roll
record
call.
again. Yeah, so that one will always now be a roll call coming back out, not an all in favor, so that there is a verbal list of who's here when we come back out. of
All right,
closed
got
session.
it.
Just for the sake of, best practice.
Yes.
But second, I went on our website, we don't have any spot on our website where we list the properties the village owns for development.
Not anymore. We haven't updated our information on that either, so we took it all down when the information became.
Properties or land?
Yeah, so the land we have available for development, so if developers are looking in our area, they could actually pull that up, and get our demographics. I know, I think like she said, it's all updated. We probably need to update all that and get it back out there, because if somebody comes in here, they're like, well, what's available?
I thought we put that on a jump stick one.
We did,
Yeah.
John, I believe Brenda and I were both trustees back then.
Yeah, has it been that long?
It's way,
It's
William,
been-
William went to the show with the jump
He
stick.
did, so
So I mean,
that,
it's,
Wow.
and that show doesn't even exist anymore, it's by a completely different name now.
yeah.
It's been that 12 years.
It's
already.
still the same acronym, just different words for what the show is, so those are the two biggest things I took away from.
Attended the railroad safety
Ooh,
one and, just because of it going through the heart of our town and our fire station being less than a block away, if anything would happen. And it was, BNSF that's where one of the representatives was from. And how they do work with, the first responders and stuff on safety and stuff like that. And, I was very curious because didn't know if like we had a plan, if we ever had anything like that happen here. So I was very intrigued by some of the stuff that they had said.
Didn't we have a car leak one? Didn't we have a hazardous leak on a train car here once?
That was when I think it first moved in,
But, like,
almost 20 years.
like I said, my
Oh, we
concern
had
was
a
just
train. It
the
could've been.
fact that if we had something and where our fire station is located, if it ended up being in some zone of, but I know that goes to,
And I don't think a lot of that gas comes
that
through, right?
plan also has to take part in another with the fire department.
You mean gasoline?
No,
There's
they
tankers
had-
that go through, I don't
Yeah.
read all the labels that come through, I mean. I'm
Like the
imagining there's a million
phosphorus and all
different-
this.
You can read,
You can get the little book, it shows you what the.
Yeah.
Oh,
plaque is.
yeah.
There's-
I have one at home.
there's
should-
actually,
It should be an old fire truck.
there's actually an app
There's an
Oh,
app.
yeah,
that,
there
that
is.
they said it's called, and I wrote it down in my information, it's Ask Something. And you can go into it if you see something, like even the semi trucks and stuff, and it tells you what's in those tankers.
I used to know a bunch of them that like
Mhm.
ethanol
We
and
can-
gasoline.
Fergie's gonna be the first one out if we get a spill.
I'm not even like,
They'd be consumed by it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but
which-
I'm not even talking about us, is also the matter of the
Bill.
fact of the fire department.
True.
Because of their proximity to how close they are to the tracks. That's kind of where I was going. But yeah, I found it very interesting.
There's a lot of information that said that they're still gonna blare their horns and still gonna block crossings. And there's,
yeah,
Yes.
what's up?
and there's
with
nothing they're
going
gonna do about it
Well,
except,
that-
and that trains were getting
north? Must be
longer.
passing
That
ordinance.
was
Well,
kind of a
yeah,
problem
there-
too, so, yeah, there was.
There's no longer a
No good
time
news.
limit anymore.
What about the
That's
2 in the
blocking.
morning horn blowing, you know?
Still gonna continue to
Yep.
do,
They
they,
eliminated the time limit?
when they're in,
That is gone now.
as long as it's not a quiet
Does-
zone and they're not
does the
required.
fire
We'd
department
have to
still
get a
the ability to
quiet zone.
Contact them, get them to break it.
Yes, they do, but yeah, they have the ability to radio them and stuff like
I've
that.
heard that's not always very,
No,
very good.
no, it's not.
And they weren't religious about keeping their time. All they had to do was move it a little bit and the clock reset anyway.
The,
So-
the thing that was quite interesting was the fact that it was there was a lot of people in this one. And the amount of people that raised their hand and made comments or questioned certain things and why this happens. Like, the moderator was the mayor of River Forest, I believe. And she goes, we have trains that sit and idle for days
Yeah,
and don't move.
So we don't got it bad. at all
no,
then.
not
But like,
creatively.
you know, cause he stood up and gave all this information and all this stuff and. You know, and she just kind of sat there until it was a certain time and then he started talking about, oh yeah, you know. Rail is still one of the most popular and we're short needing people just like every place else and. People started coming in with things about blocking certain. Roadways and different things so things can't get through and. And then he made some excuses for somebody who asked the question and then the mayor, she goes, I just want to say, she goes, I wasn't gonna say anything. She goes, but we have trains that idle for days.
Good lord.
And the one guy goes, well, I can give you the crossing number again. It's 388. He's like,
Good
it's
luck
called
with
on
that.
it 3 times. And I was like,
Yeah, he was ready with the digits, so
Yeah.
it was, he was ready with the digits.
He saw that
They
one.
looked it up there and they told him that it
Yes.
is something they were looking
It's
into
true, yeah.
and that it was an issue. So, I mean, they are active on those.
I was gonna
things,
say,
so.
he reiterated it like
So we will
3
not be
times.
back next year is what I'm hearing.
I I mean, it's a topic that needs to be gone over and over again,
Well,
so.
The last we knew, state of Illinois had no authority over the trains. The US
Mhm.
Supreme Court had come up
Federal
with that,
government.
it's strictly
Feds.
federal.
Mhm.
So we can't find them, just for the public's knowledge, we can't find them, we can't do anything to them.
Nope.
We are absolutely tied, and so is the state of
We're
Illinois.
at their mercy.
Yeah, cause somebody made the comment that they had read an article where trains were like getting to be 3 miles long or something like that and
3.5 miles long, but that's more, I think, out like.
out west, cause he
Yeah, where
said,
they don't have anyone for,
yes.
acres.
Yeah, cause he said
thousands
that
of
their
acres.
main thoroughfare
Yeah.
was out there, but yeah, that was like.
Yes.
But it was something that they did mention that trains will probably be getting longer
Longer.
as they learn and they make it more efficient and things of that nature.
Technology,
Yeah, the idea is that the longer trains will hopefully make it less, it'll be a 1 train instead of 3 trains that block your way, so that's the idea.
It'll only be an hour
Obviously, it's just gonna be
instead
more
of 20
product.
minutes.
Yeah.
it was, more in the technology on how they. Check like the tracks and,
Yeah.
You can always drive around for the public. It takes a little about 7 extra minutes, so.
What it is.
that was one of my,
I mean,
I think in 20 some odd years of living here, I think both tracks have only been blocked once that I know.
I've had them blocked a couple of times on me.
Both sets?
Got
Yeah,
through one
because-
and they turn around and go over to the corner.
Well, I've been blocked here, there, and then down at the other one, so like,
You're just unlucky.
yeah, that day I was, usually I have great luck, that day I didn't. have
I think I've
luck.
only been blocked both Big Mountain 72
It's been a while.
once.
Now y'all moved to a junction, so that's. what-
It is, I mean, we got a train on a
Train on the
water tower and it.
And you went
let
over
you
the
know.
tracks before you bought your house, so.
Yeah,
we
you
just-
know, I didn't realize that's what it really meant. I thought it was just a name.
It's just at one time,
It's amazing how upset people get about that though.
you drove
I mean,
over
like,
the tracks to get into the
yelling,
subdivision most
screaming.
likely, so. Or
But I think
into
there
the
is
town in
more
general,
action on the rail than now than there
Came
was
from-
20-some years ago.
in the west.
No?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I don't get
There are
it.
just a lot more people crossing the tracks. 20 years ago, there wasn't anybody.
Yeah, we didn't have half the subdivision, so.
Well, there might
Anybody
not-
else have any?
Yeah,
anybody else, anything else, so we can move on?
Oops.
Sandy?
I'm actually gonna pass the first one over to Matt, which is the discussion and possible award of the bid for the Oslick grant. For the community park, is there? an
On
update?
All right, I got fresh hot information from.
No,
All right.
3 hours ago.
packets.
And it's not best, but maybe we'll work around it.
Alarms aren't long enough.
You guys might not be happy with it, but unfortunately, you know, probably read it.
You're not supposed to start off with, you're probably not gonna like this.
You gotta be.
There's nowhere to go but up from there.
You gotta be honest.
Yeah,
I-
because,
You can't sugarcoat what it just said.
Dale's on vacation Wednesday. It would have probably been easier for him to kind of come and explain, the process and the design for what we bid for the park, but kind of in a nutshell, when we got to the point to bidding, obviously, we're worried about completion time on the contract, so, the end of the grant
period was April 30th of last year, so we kind of start the process of getting a grant extension. And one of the first hurdles that we hit was with the advanced payment that the village received. The way IDNR works is you can't request an extension until the advance payment has been expended. So that was the first hurdle we hit, and we got some help and we got some hindrance with the information we got from IDNR. From the grant application, the grant person down there sent us the information, and there was actually in the grant application, there was specific items that were specified in the grant application, and that's this document here. It's a couple pages from the online application that was put in. So if you look down that table, there was the fish pond, the fish pier, the splash pad, gazebo, shelter with restrooms, the baseball and softball fields, concession expansion, exercise station. There was a line item for fencing and a line item for lighting, which I haven't had a chance to talk to Dale. I'm not sure exactly if he knows exactly what the scope of that work was. And then the rec path, so there was additional path that was being built. And part of the application was they sent in, you know, the grant application required you to put in what they call an attachment A3. It's the site development plan. So this plan, this map here should tell you exactly what you applied for in the grant application. It should tell you specifically what you applied for. Well, this had in it, you know, and stuff, basically, I think the master plan. And I think when we started the design, I think right, wrong, or different, I think maybe Nate Hill was under the impression that, you know, you got this grant for $600,000, there's a $600,000 match. So we had to spend 1.2 million, and we would kind of pick what we needed to do or what we thought were the highest priorities and stuff here to do in the park, you know, and stuff, and spend that allotted amount. Well, IDNR, they want to see what was done in the grant application, these particular items. And the reason being, a majority of these items, they classify the items as either recreational items or infrastructure items. So, for example, you know, your fish pond, fish pier, splash pad, those are recreational items. You know, the baseball fields, those are all recreational items. The items like, you know, the lighting for the park, the fencing, wherever that might be, that was part of the application and stuff, those were kind of infrastructure items. You know, even like, you know, expansion of the parking lot, infrastructure items. So in the application, your infrastructure items can't be more than 40% of the grant. They want majority of the money to go to the grant and the match to go to recreational items. So where we landed today, I had a WebEx, which is kind of like Zoom for that the state used. I talked to two of the grants people down there, and I explained, you know, kind of the process where you started with developing the master plan, putting in the acquisition grant, the development grant. You've already constructed the fish or the pond improvements and stuff. And then we still have the rest of the development and stuff that we're doing with the development grant. And where we landed today was, you know, they're gonna allow for a 6-month extension. They still have to review, so we can get the 6-month extension. They still have to review the expenditures that I submitted, because basically what I'm doing is, when we got this list, the pond out there can be, it's on your list of things to do. I'm sure that you intended to just pay for that, and you were gonna use the grant for other things, but at the end of the day, you know, whether we use it for the pond or whether you're gonna use it.
Right.
So what we did was we put the expenses, Sandy got me the pay request, we put in the expenses for the pond. Once we get those approved, basically, we're gonna be able to, we can't do it now, but once IDNR approves those, I can tell Brenda she can transfer the money, that 300,000 from your grant account over to whatever account you're gonna reimburse yourself with, and stuff. So that clears up the advance payment. So now what we have to do is, and I think I'd like to have Dale get with Nathan and Brody, and we need to go down through here. We have a little bit of flexibility. Cause they acknowledge that, depending on overall cost, and stuff, they're not gonna hold you maybe to every single item on the list and stuff here. But if they would rather get rid of the quote infrastructure items first. So, if we have on the list there, like the fencing and the lighting, maybe those go by the wayside first. And then keep as many of the recreational items as we can. If we can keep them all, that would be the best. But if we find out that once we work through the costs, that those might be more than what you want to spend, then we can go back to them and say, here's where we're at. We took bids on some of the items, but the other items, here's what we think the cost of those items are going to be. And we'll give the board a dollar amount, what we think that's going to be. We're going to move quickly on this. Once we know that dollar amount, then you need to tell us, are we good to go with this based off our estimates, as long as the prices come in after bidding well? Or if we're over what you're wanting to spend, then we gotta put in a request to cut out certain line items of this list from my DNR.
When you do bid, will there be contingencies then?
Yeah, we could take bids on really all of it if we wanted to, and then if we wanted to, cut things out, and stuff, we wanted to do, say, like a base bid and then some alternate items.
Right.
And then as long as the base comes in good, we just award that, and maybe we go to cut out some of the alternate items that are infrastructure items, or maybe lower priority, rec facilities. and
You
stuff
should probably
there. So-
decide that before we get to the bid portion, with Nathan. and
Yep.
Brody.
Yep. So what I'm hoping to do is, if Dale can get with, Nathan and Brody next week, go through this, figure out what our costs are, and hopefully in a couple of weeks, come back to you and say, here's where we think we're at budget wise. How do we want to format the bid, and stuff. These items is the base bid, and figure out what our alternates are. And then we've got to get in there and modify the plans. Some of the things that we designed to bid are on this list. Some of the things that we designed, they're on the master plan, which eventually you're gonna do, but unfortunately, they're just not in the grant application. So we're gonna have to shelve those and add in some things that, that we're gonna need to bid for this. We'd like to personally, I'd like to maybe make sure that we can get this thing ready for bid by December, so we can get it awarded. And then the contractor's ready to go March, April, as soon as the weather gets good. And then we can get it, this additional 6 months that they'll grant us takes us to the end of October. And that should be plenty of time to get it done. The one thing that is I think probably a big negative for you, and there's just no way around it, and stuff. My impression is that parking lot on the north end was a high priority, I thought, and that's not in the grant scope of work. So the problem is the $600,000 grant, wasn't intended to use for the parking lot. It's not one of these line items here. So the thing is, we got to do the grant items, which is to use up to 600,000. We'd have the $600,000 match. The match being matching the items that are in the application. And then unfortunately, if you wanted to do the parking lot, that would be a separate cost. Now, we can break out what we thought because we bid that. We should know what that price is.
Right.
Because
So-
in reality, we weren't expecting 300,000 for the pond, so that money would be depending on how much it is.
Yes,
Would be a possibility to spend on the parking lot if it was a separate item,
yes, yes,
just saying.
yeah,
We're just shifting the dollar amounts.
yes, yes. So,
We've already spent the other, so.
Right, yeah.
An issue.
Just
So-
Doesn't matter what. it comes out to
reimbursement
be.
for what has already been spent then,
Yeah.
so.
So is the recommendation at this point then to reject all
The
of the bids?
recommendation would be to reject all the bids, and then we're just gonna have to, amend, we're gonna have to design the facilities that are in the application into the project. The stuff that we have designed that we can't incorporate right now, it just goes on the shelf for you, it's there for you when you do wanna
Right.
construct those
This would have
facilities.
been problematic if we had accepted the bid. and-
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes,
Understood.
Do you,
so
do you know what the formal process is for that,
for,
rejecting all the bids? Is
Uh,
it just a motion?
it's just a motion to reject all bids received.
Do we need a motion for that?
So do we just go through the bid thing on here then, and then just say no? Is that inevitably?
I'll make a motion to that we reject all the bids for the Oslin grant,
Grant Community Park.
construction. Anybody want to second that?
Second,
Chris makes a motion to reject all of the bids for the Oslo Grant construction. Jen seconds. Any discussion on it? Roll call.
Nathan,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Patrick's absent, Chris,
Yes.
Jen,
yes.
Bill's absent.
That's 7:26.
All right, thank you, everybody. Sorry we got down the wrong
No.
train track, so to speak, and stuff, but
At least we got off it for the train wreck.
Well,
yeah, we got off before the train wreck is right.
Yeah.
yes.
what happens when
Analogy.
you change horses?
Well, and Brody and I had talked about this
Yeah.
over the last couple of weeks as we saw where this was tumbling to, and this is a better outcome than I could have hoped for.
Yeah,
Yes, it
it helps so much when you can talk to these people, and stuff. I mean, everybody's so tied into emailing back and forth, and it's just so tough. I mean, we're getting, I was getting frustrated because we were getting almost conflicting, they tell you one thing and then you say, okay, this is what you told me. Okay, I want to do this. And they're like, no, I suppose we could probably do that, Fine.
Yeah.
All we need is direction here. Just
Yeah.
give me an answer. And that's what we gave me at 2:30 today. I finally got the two ladies on the WebEx, and I just pinned them down and I got answers, and I had a definitive direction on what I needed to do. So,
Face to face is always better when you're.
yes.
Can you?
When you
We have
can't.
too many people talking.
That's me.
Why are you looking at me?
Cause it messes with my microphone.
I understand.
Thank you. Sorry, will you let Aaron know?
Yep.
Please let everybody who's bid know about the reduction. And he's responded to a few emails of
Yes.
other people.
Yep, I know the low bidder has been calling and stuff, and I talked to Aaron after I talked, since Dale was on, I talked to Aaron this afternoon after my WebEx, and I told Aaron, I said, don't tell Schultzman yet.
Yeah.
My meeting tonight, but I said, more than likely it's gonna get rejected.
All right, and then, yeah, and I think like Construct Connect and some of those other ones out there were out.
Oh,
So if he
yep.
could just get back to that,
Yep, can do.
thank you. All right, you ready for the rest of my stuff?
Yep, you still got it.
I do. So the second one is, we need to decide on some street names for the Route 72 project so that we can, finalize the rest of that and get it before zoning and board, and this board for approval. So, the subdivision needs a name. So this entire subdivision needs a name, and then this road on the far left is which is the west side, has a name, that's Blexinger Lane. So we need a name for this road here down the middle and a name for this road here. So I told Dale that we would discuss that and I'd get back to him with the answers. Any ideas? thoughts?
Subdivision name, Long Street name, Short Street.
Yes, and this is already Blexinger Lane. So if you have an equally long name,
Preferably not.
We got the longest name on the shortest road, and we'll have the shortest name on the longest road.
I mean, that's also true. So our subdivisions are kind of done like,
Ski slopes. huh?
so like train names,
Train
the Oval
names,
Crossing,
forest,
ours is more,
Forest, woods,
more- I call
forest.
them hippie-ish names. And then the original side of town is kind of all of their classic names. Well, in actually Forest isn't bad. So
Mhm.
the original town of Davis Junction was drawn with a Forest Avenue. That was the road originally dedicated to the east side of the tracks. I said, so that's actually not a bad idea to reuse
Yeah.
the original name for a street that was dedicated for the village and reuse it over here now that that street has been vacated in its entirety.
That's the long,
What-
one, the short one. Sorry.
What a, oh,
It was a north-south street, right?
Yeah.
It was a north-south street.
Make the short one for us.
what a,
And the other one
here's
jump.
just a suggestion. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
thinking, but obviously we have the Luxinger.
Yeah.
Lane. What about if we went with like Jeremiah Boulevard? Because of the founders of Davis Junction.
For the long one,
Which
Yes.
most people don't even.
Short one, we could do track road.
Doesn't matter.
well, or stick with the cause
I like
Forest,
Forest,
but
that's a really good idea,
that actually was. a good
because the
idea.
existing,
So Williams
Road
gotta
has
go
kind of
first now. Lushlinger Forest.
They don't all have
Luxinger.
to go together, but they all can be related to the village.
Right, I was just thinking of the founders.
Yeah,
of-
that's not a bad idea either.
Call it Jeremiah Plaza then.
Well, I was gonna say, is that was the last name was Plaza?
No,
No.
it's
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah Davis.
Oh.
Call it Jeremiah
Except for
Plaza.
we already
Yeah.
have, we already have this subdivision over here,
What's the Stenstrom Mall?
which is.
I don't-
Brenda,
or,
nope,
no,
I have to pull this back. in front of
What's the Stenstrom Mall? called?
No, over here where Dollar General is,
oh,
Oh,
Park?
yeah.
Right.
no,
Right.
But,
What's Stenstrom's Mall
it
called?
is,
Oh.
it is.
I just thought maybe.
I don't know.
something with
The Junction
Jeremiah
Way?
in it.
the Junction Ways Road.
What's the name?
I
of
was
it?
thinking of Davis.
She's got a name on that
he
side.
does.
Davis Drive with
So good,
Davis.
stick to something.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't care, it makes no difference. If you wanna go with that, I'll say.
Name don't-
I mean,
What did you
don't
wanna
be
go
a
with that you wanna say over there?
I said, normally to me, when you name a street after somebody, it's after their last name. That's why when she said Jeremiah, I was confused
Would be
because.
Davis then, yeah. Well,
You would
Davis is
name
a
it
short name.
Right,
Davis
Right,
Drive.
So this
Right.
is Jeremiah Heritage Center subdivision over here where Dollar General is.
Oh, okay.
So that one already has for the name of the subdivision, but not necessarily a street name. And then, Junction Development is where Stenstrom is.
That's
What
they call it.
about,
Yes,
Junction Development.
yes.
Davis Plaza sounds fine,
That sounds fine. to
or
me.
JD Plaza, Jeremiah Davis Plaza,
You could do
JD.
Davis Drive for the long one,
Right,
so it would be
that's what I was-
Luxinger, Davis Drive, Forest Avenue.
Right.
So Luxinger Lane, Davis Drive, Forest Avenue.
Just go cheesy and call it the Gateway. Here we go.
Well, what do you call, what
So
do
it
you
would be
call,
Davis Drive, I think that sounds the best.
You know,
Forest Avenue was the original to the east. Hold on, I have to pull my map.
is it
I
Luxinger?
don't, JD Plaza,
Luxinger Lane,
JD Plaza, this town will think it means Jack Daniels, but we'll know what it means.
Oh, what was yours, Rick? I thought that sounded okay.
What,
What
What'd you say?
what you said, the plaza.
the
or-
Gateway?
Yeah, the gateway, that one.
Gateway Plaza, take the
Gateway
vowel out of it.
subdivision, so you call it the Gateway subdivision. I mean, here's the deal, the subdivision name isn't going to really matter for
No,
long-term
that's fine.
purposes.
Well, are we gonna
It's
have a
for
sign out there or what?
purposes. No, it's meant for development
Exactly,
purposes,
so that-
Forever Plaza,
It will,
Does
it
this
will.
take
taking forever?
That's just wrong.
Alright, hold on.
They
Oh, and it's
will
still-
bring it look.
Yeah, it was Forest Avenue.
Yeah,
But Forest Drive sound better than Forest Avenue.
this street that never was.
Yeah, let's see.
I like Forest Avenue in my side, got more of a ring. to it.
Oh,
So this is the original plat map for
I'm
Davis
flexible.
I could
Junction.
care less.
This is the railroad track. And then this is Forest Avenue. So
Actually,
Forest
that'd be
Avenue
better
never
if you
came
had
into
Davis Drive.
existence because of the tracks.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that would be really cool though, if we did that forest.
I like.
Little throwback to the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright,
There you go.
All right,
Luxinger
Forest
Lane,
Avenue.
Forest Avenue, Davis
Davis
Drive.
Drive,
Luxinger Lane's already been named.
Right.
Alright.
because we're not doing a main street.
Call it
No.
Gateway Plaza.
And then just call it Gateway subdivision.
Southwest.
Why can't we call it Plaza?
Do you want a Gateway Plaza subdivision?
I don't
Plaza,
care.
Plaza?
Makes
Do
no
we need
difference.
subdivision word in there?
Yes, because
Oh.
the name of the subdivision.
It's the name of the property.
Because it's being
So when they go into the sub, it's the
We're
subdivision.
not
what else?
building houses though. We
We're
are,
not, a lot
no.
of people assume that when you say subdivision, it means home, this is a commercial.
it's the
subdivision.
plot.
Subdivided plot.
It's the lot.
So if you ever pull them up on GIS, you'll see it says what subdivision. it is.
Either way,
Yeah,
it's-
that's
we just,
actually how it
we
is.
just need to have it for,
Yeah, actually, it does.
for IDOT, right?
My God, there's-
Well, for legal description
Legal, yeah,
purposes.
reported.
All right,
Right,
Everybody good with those names?
I am.
Okay, hold on. What did we finally decide on the subdivision?
The gateway subdivision,
Okay, just Gateway.
Yep.
All right, John, I just want to show this to you real quick. This is-
JD Plaza would have sounded good.
This is about the only time that you can see it. It's hard to see, but I clicked on this lot here and down here in the legal description, you can see the name of the subdivision.
Good lord.
Yeah, right here, Jeremiah Heritage Center. That's the only time you really
See
see it
it.
is for legal.
You can put anything you
purposes.
want on the sign out front.
You could. So.
We aren't gonna have a sign up.
Right.
So
Not
Gateway
gonna matter.
Plaza subdivision or Gateway?
Huh?
Well, if we
Gateway
get a
subdivision.
lot of,
Alright,
if we get a lot.
If
of
you've got
people
enough
there, maybe we
businesses
can
in there,
put
they're
it
gonna
over
need a
some-
sign with
well, I'll
it.
respond to the email too.
There you go.
There.
Yep, but I'll get it.
But we're not paying.
Our Land surveyor, so we
Gateway.
We will, we always do.
Yep.
Perfect.
Alright, and then, okay, my next item is, you'll see an ordinance was in the board packet amending our, Robert's Rules of Order. Our ordinances have said for the longest time that we follow, Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. However, we are now in the 12th edition of newly revised. So, this was like bottom of my barrel. I finally got to it. Parliamentarian recommended just adding in the current edition of to your ordinances so that it will always reference the correct edition. So I just need a motion. And a
I'll make a
second.
motion for ordinance 24-10 and ordinance amending meetings and rules of procedure, governing rules suspension.
Second.
John makes a motion to approve resolution number 20, I'm sorry,
24-
ordinance 24-10.
Can I,
Second, Chris,
can I get a copy?
who seconded?
Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan seconded. Any discussion?
I just want a copy.
Oh.
What?
Online.
All in favor?
Where?
Opposed?
I just didn't get my eye in time.
No.
You go past the 7:37.
Kind of stuttered with it, so I got two in there probably, so.
If you
Not
would
trying to
like,
vote twice, just
do
once.
The new edition, you could just go online and Google it.
Okay.
Look up Robert's
I-
Rules of Order 12th edition.
I recommend everyone Google it.
Just go buy an
Absolutely.
Amazon book.
I will tell you, it is really dry material. It makes some great bedtime reading.
No, but it might help.
No, but I do think that if it
I wanna
ever
send
came
that,
down,
that link to Bill.
yeah, if it ever came down to an issue of how something was handled here in a meeting, I just want to make sure that we're covered with the correct Robert's Rules of Order.
Does it come in an audio book?
No, that would probably be.
That would be a
difficult.
good. And you could really fall asleep too.
And then I did learn quite a few things in IML. You'll see me just slowly working on them as I update some of our ordinances and handbook stuff that I learned while I was there. So those you'll just see from me. So that's all I have.
Brenda?
I have nothing at this time.
Wonderful. You want the committees, Jen?
Did Matt have anything or was he?
Anything
Oh,
else?
sorry, man. I skipped you.
Acting up,
I already
man.
heard, man. I'm skipping right over
I
it.
should have shut up.
Sorry, you gotta wait.
All right, give me just a minute. Junction Way, the only thing Dale has there is just need to finalize the resolution, to appropriate the MFT funds and establish a letting date. So really just need to do that whenever you guys are ready to bid that project, so.
In the spring?
No, no,
Now?
no. When you bid, you should be bidding in January.
That's what I was, I'm sorry.
That's
That's
not
what I
spring,
meant by
that's winter.
spring.
All right, all right.
After the first.
After, so we would like to bid January, February.
Okay,
Early.
Yes, for a change will be.
we'll just put January in there.
Yeah, well, and actually, if in January, you can get me the information I need to get it. Have we approved it to go out for bid yet?
You looking at me?
Yes,
He's the streets guy.
you were the streets guy, I thought, when we started this.
I was, and I don't believe so. I don't believe so. No, I don't believe we.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so, are we at a point that I can get the board approval to even get it out for bid in January? Yeah, look at you now, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
You bet.
I think Dale can get you the resolution, and everything. Probably should do that right now and then.
Yeah.
And then.
Just
we
wait till
can- we
January to
then
get
we
it
can
out.
set a letting date. and-
If you wanna tell them, get me all the
Yep,
documents,
I
we'll
will.
get that going, cause that way we're ready when January 1st hits.
Cause we haven't talked with Dale, what, since August, right? It was August. The day the Saturn died. I remember that.
We'll get that rolling. Let's see.
Oh,
Mark on this
Yes,
on that.
so the Junction Road culvert replacement, I actually have an update on that. So while at the IML conference, I was able to both chat with our attorney and with Scott Brown. And, I believe we're still we were waiting on an agreement for the drain tile that is inside that project as well. So I did receive that today, so you guys should see that in about 2 weeks or so, depending on how it goes with the farmer. But we're gonna get that signed and then before the board for approval, but I did receive that documentation that I need. I'll probably be in touch with Scott, 'cause I think I need a few more finer details, but otherwise that one is nearing an end on paperwork end, just not on finalization.
Sounds good. Rebuild downtown Main Streets, grant, Bill's got the, interim, traffic analysis to IDOT. They've kind of, reviewed all of that and they still want some additional information from us, but basically in a nutshell, they've kind of really approved the ultimate design and then the design for just lot one. Lot one build out, and with lot one build out, we will not have to do turn lanes and stuff for it. So, it's gonna probably this is probably gonna end up kind of like Junction Way. As developments go in, you're probably gonna have to do a traffic study and depending on what goes in another lot, what the generations are gonna be, and then at some point, there's probably gonna be some turn lanes added at some point. But at least initially, we won't have to do anything, so.
I think the first one's just gonna take traffic from Junction Way
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So, we're gonna, Dale and I are gonna quickly go over some things with, Chris and Rick on Friday. Shouldn't take too long, kind of related to this, cause IDOT that's part of the reason why we had to wait on the plat, because we gotta show, now since they're gonna, for the ultimate design, there's gonna be some turn lanes and stuff in there, if the traffic generations that actually happen, that we anticipate happen. So IDOT wants to make sure that the right of way is platted in there to give us the room to put the turn lanes and stuff in there, so we've got kind of the geometry worked out for that, so we can get the preliminary final plat done and get that recorded. And then the other thing they want to do is actually have us do some drawings for the layout for the actual intersection and the turn lane, so they know when it does get built, this is what it's gonna look like. But, we'll be going, Dale and I'll go through that a little bit more detail with Chris and Brett on Friday. Won't take too long, guys, so you can get into your weekend. We talked about the OSLED grant, so we know the direction and stuff there. And then the Meadows subdivision, I did receive back, I gotta take a look and try to get a cost estimate from a contractor, but I did get a budget number for a prefab flow meter and manhole. It's gonna be around, I gotta verify the depth and stuff that we need, but around 25,000 just for the manhole itself, and we're gonna need to get it installed. The meter's gonna need some power to it, so we gotta figure out where we can get power for the recorder and everything, so we'll try to, hopefully by next meeting, we can kind of finalize what that total cost might look like. Cool. And I think the last thing that we had something on was big one, a lot of activity this month for Brett and his crew is the filter rehab and temporary filter. They've been really working away at it hard and got everything piped together. Got disinfection and stuff done on it. Grabbed first sample today, second sample tomorrow. So if everything tests out, then we'll be ready to kind of put the temporary filter online and kind of see how it runs for a week or so before we have to drain the filter for the inspections. We're still online for draining. We have it on schedule for the 4th. And then we're still online with the company that'll come in and actually do the media removal and nozzle removal and stuff. And then we'll follow in right behind them to do the inspections and see what, if any, rehab needs to be done before that company comes back and puts the new media and nozzles back in. So
Are we doing any, I don't know, people retention away from the area over there. Like fencing or safety, anything, just because the light got ran over recently. I just hate for someone around that corner and hit one of those darn pipes.
Bill has the security. company.
Well, knowing who does it doesn't help the fact that we have a busted pipe out there, you know, so. I just didn't know if there was any plans for any of that. I didn't remember there to be, but I'm just, after with the light, I'm just.
I mean, I can contact.
The best part
fence
about light
company,
is
but
they
they're gonna
back
have to
into
do basically the entire property.
Right, and then it's gonna be a pain to get things in and out and such, so.
The brightest part is they actually backed into the light.
I don't need them to back into the, you know, the 100 feet of pipe that we have out there.
Well, there is one thing with this too, is, while this is in operation, we are only going to be able to use well number 1. Because the way it was valved at the water plant, when they built the plant, the valves are wrong. So unfortunately, in order to do this, we will only be able to run well 1 at this time. So that's not a warm fuzzy feeling. But it is what it is, because I have to isolate well 2, because of valving issues. So.
Yeah, there was a,
This project.
to be honest with you, there was a, we had it one way on the map, and then we had one way on the drawing. And after 25 years, sometimes your memory goes, you know, and stuff, and I haven't figured out, it could have been worse. We had a bypass in there. We added a bypass in there when we built the original water plant. And I can't remember why. I do remember that we drilled the well, we didn't have the well building completed, the water treatment plant completed, and we had the water mains out in plats 1 and 2. And Joe was building plat 3, and we put water mains in plat 3. We didn't drill any wells. So we had to make sure that when they started building homes there, they had water. So we weren't going to be done with the water plant. So there was actually a temporary structure that we put around the well. We put the chemical feeds and stuff in there, and we were putting, you know, drinking water out in the system before we actually had the filter actually completed. So I'm thinking that's why we put this bypass in here that Brett's referring to, and the way we did it, we had some valving on there. And when we did the layout for the filter, you know, and stuff, we actually worked off of the water map books, you know, and stuff to make sure that, you know, we had the arrangement, you know, and stuff. And it just so happened that bypass, since it was put in, we actually added it. It was one of the things, because I went back and looked at the original drawings. We actually added the bypass. It wasn't actually built into the plant design. So we added the bypass in there, and it just so happens the way the bypass was put in and piped, we could use the well to feed this temporary filter, and then off the filter, we could go down and connect into hydrant off of the tower and stuff. So what Brett's referring to is we had 2 valves on one of the legs and on one of the drawings, and the other drawing, it was on the other leg, you know, and stuff. And we needed 1 valve on each leg to make it really kind of work the best, you know, and stuff. Just so happened they both ended up on the same leg for some reason, but after 25 years, I just don't remember why.
That's all right, man.
I can't remember stuff that happened 25 days.
The memory is going.
I'd wonder if you could remember that part.
No,
But you do.
like I said, Brett and his crew have been doing a really good job, you know, and stuff. It was like piecing together a puzzle, the piping and everything to get the filter connected into the hydrants is not as easy as what you think. There's a lot of parts to get it done, and everything had to be even you had to rotate the hydrant a little bit, you know, and stuff and everything to get it on there, because we were connecting into the pumper. And then when the piping comes into the pumper, you've got the auxiliary valve for the hydrant right in front of it. And when you pipe it together, you can't get the wrench on it to turn that thing on and off. So there's a little bit extra work that they had to do, but they've done a real nice job getting it piped together.
It looks impressive if you go up there.
Yep.
All right, Jen, no more teasing.
Oh. I don't have a lot on the sesquicentennial event. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago. And we are all assigned some stuff, information, and I know I haven't gotten any information back on what I'm working on, and you said you didn't get anything back yet. So we're still kind of working on that. Halloween. I don't have any information on it, because I haven't started on it. Because Brenda told me I had to wait. I couldn't buy anything.
Right. Couldn't buy
Are you
anything.
still gonna do the 3 locations?
Yeah, I think so, because Nate's graciously. Yeah, you were nominated
I
to be the
nom-
location.
I was gonna say.
And I know I've
Remember
had
volunteering.
some, reach out from, Grace Fellowship also.
Are they gonna do the one in the Oak Crossing
I'm,
again?
that we need to confirm, but I know they wanted to do something, and I was like, okay. So we've kind of been communicating a little bit, but I think they wanna do stuff, and I don't think they're getting the help, so then they just kind of step in and be like, what do you need?
All right, well, let Erica know as soon as you know,
Yeah.
so she can update our advertising.
And Christmas, I don't even wanna talk about that yet.
All right. Anything you do want to talk about?
I don't think so. I think I said everything that
All right,
for the IML, so.
Chris?
I don't believe we had any emergency expenditures, so I don't believe I have anything.
All right, Bill's not here. Nathan?
I don't have anything.
All right. John?
Brett, do you have an update on the truck or anything else?
New truck went to Wisconsin. My days, I don't even know, last Monday
2
sometime.
weeks ago?
They came down, sent a contract driver, he picked it up, took it up to the Union Grove location,
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe it is. We have not heard anything back yet, so, but there was quite a list of things, so I'm not surprised we have not heard back yet. So if we get towards the end of the week here, we don't hear anything, we'll make a call to our contact up there and find out what's going on with that, so.
Did we discuss at the last meeting that the truck had even arrived?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about how it was not well.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
See, that wasn't even 25 years.
I know, that was less than
It
14
only gets
days
worse
ago.
as you get older.
Yeah, so anyway, hopefully we'll know a little more by the end of the week, but,
Thank you, Brett.
the only other thing is, not that anybody really cares, but, there will be no street crack filling this season, so we've done it every year for almost 10, 11 years, but the filter project, since it's been pushed back so far, has now interfered with that, so, there will be none of that this year. We'll pick it up again next season.
Touch that brace your.
Try to call Mike.
The cracks will
Since
be there.
since you're talking, do you have anything for utilities?
No, Matt's covered it all. pretty much.
Economic development? Moving on, unfinished business? Public? I have, I won't be in, I'll be out of state next week, starting Saturday to Sunday, I'll be, so 8 days I'll be out of state. I'll be available by phone if anything happens.
I will not be at the next meeting. I will be finishing up my term as a municipal clerks of Illinois president, so Brenda will be running it.
Yay,
It'll be nice to Brenda.
I'm excited.
What date? What's that? What date is that?
October 8th.
2 weeks
Good thing.
today.
I write it down.
Yeah,
No
so Brenda.
Sandy. No Sandy.
Anything
October
from anybody
Yes,
else?
You could not give her a hard time.
Motion to adjourn.
8th. Second.
John makes a motion to adjourn, Chris seconds, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed, say nay.
Come on,
Nate.
we're late again.
7:54, we're adjourned.